What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the left side of the map in the blue color, playing as Zeus. His name is Ulysses. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Odin. His name is Mrboat. Oh, spicy mama. Odin versus Zeus on Frozen Waste. It's been, I think, a hot minute since we've actually seen Ulysses going for this one. Actually, or is this just the first of the Odins he's met? I'm not actually sure. There's quite a few Odin players in this tournament, and there are, in the Champions League, I believe, there's really only 1.5 Zeus players. I say a half because you've got Skadi, you've got Mariano. They both dabble with Zeus, but I think that Skadi would much prefer to play the Odin mirror than play Zeus versus Odin, or even play like Set versus Odin as well. But we'll see how things are going to go here. Is now Zeus versus Odin's the matchup. How's it going to go? Now, Ulysses is kind of known for his centaur control and his centaur strategies. But in recent years, recent months, whatever you want to talk about it, the centaur hoplite strategy fell out of fashion. It's fallen out of fashion. We don't see it all too often anymore because Odin players have kind of worked out what the weakness of it is. So the question is going to be, does Ulysses say, maybe it's been long enough here to bring my centaur hoplite strategy out here? Or does he just say, I'm going to go for Athena hoplites here and make that work? Or an Athena rush-esque style here for Zeus and make that work? Those are the questions that need to be answered here in this game. Relics have been uncovered. Trojan Gate Hinge, big relic there for both players to be in all honesty. And look at this from Mrboat. I love this. You see not one, but 2 Ulysses scouting out for Mrboat. Why is this important? What it means is that Mrboat can sit inside of his base against an Athena rush, against the centaurs, and not have to worry. He does not have to worry in the slightest here for anything to happen. We see the Katoskabot searching around for Ulysses. Now, he might be able to find some of these goats that are getting sent back here, depending on what Ulysses does. If Ulysses tries to scout all around the outside, it looks like he's not. He might be able to stop them from coming back. But Mrboat is going to claim the vast majority of the goats in this game, which there's 2 things that it does. So one, we've already talked about it, is that Mrboat here is going to be able to eat goats for a very long time. But 2, more importantly, it forces Ulysses' villagers out onto the map to hunt, which might not seem like that bad of a deal for Ulysses. Obviously, hunting is better than eating herdables, but it means that Ulysses' villagers are open to get raided, which is a big deal. Ulysses' villagers being raided means ouch. So even though he gets the more food income, he also has to figure out how he's going to defend against it. And we do see Athena coming through here for Ulysses after all is said and done. Very spicy. We'll see how it goes. We see 4 villagers on gold here. That's not my recommended amount. Let's just say that much. Reason why is because you need to get yourself a Jason. That costs food. It does cost a little bit of gold, but just a little bit. You need to get yourself a Jason. You need to get yourself an Odysseus. You need to get yourself 2 military backs before you even start thinking about gold being spent. So you need a lot of wood here straight away. And you can see that Ulysses at this point, he needs 400 wood. He's got himself 4 villages over here. He's got himself 3 villages over here. I would recommend 7 is good, but 8 villages is probably how many you need. And then once you get the archery range and military cutting up, you can move a villager over onto gold, and you're actually completely fine. We'll see how things are going to go. Hand axe, pickaxe actually coming through for Ulysses as well, as he does go for a later advance time. Now, this is something I do talk about. There's 2 types of Athena rushes, as we also see Freya coming through for Mrboat. There's the 402 Athena rush, and there's the 430 Athena rush, and everything in the middle. And that's 416. If you go for the 430, you got all of these extra resources to spend. So you should get yourself some upgrades here as the Herso does come through. But the weakness of the 430 advance is that you're going to get pressure. You're going to get pressured from an aggressive Odin player. He's going to be very aggressive here. We see the Herso pushing forward straight away. The Valkyrie coming in onto this position here. That's going to get bolted here, most likely. There it goes. The village is still pushing back. Military Academy about to come through. Jason is in. Military Academy up. Archery range coming down. Mrboat gets the scouting knowledge here as the Minotaur comes through. Good micro there from Mrboat. Pulls back beautifully as the Hearse are going to start getting some damage done onto that one. Ulysses retreating there as well as the Odysseus comes through. A little bit more damage onto that Minotaur. Does manage to come in, but it looks like Mrboat's going to be losing his Hearse on this position as well, as we do see the Trojan Gate Inch going to be coming through. There is a relic at the top here, which is a Canopic Jar of Imsetting. Not the most important relic there, but you definitely want to be keeping it away from any sort of infantry users like Zeus here. But maybe Mrboat won't worry too much about that, as we do see some Ulfsark coming out here at the start here. Surprised to see the Ulfsark. Generally speaking, Herser throwing Axeman at the start is good. You can then start throwing in some, what do you call them? You can start building some raiding cavalry after that. The Ulfsark, generally speaking, not the best, as we do see that Minotaur manages to get a special ability off, one-hitting that Ulfsark, as the Oxcart here getting pushed back. Meanwhile, on this position, Ulysses happily finishing up with the Walrus there, happily putting more and more pressure here onto Mrboat, as he's going to be pulling back into his main base. Watchtowers coming through here, and Ulysses is going to have to start thinking about retreating away from this position, though the tower here will start getting cleaned up as well. Raiding cavalry coming out. As the Minotaur comes in, gets a raiding cavalry kill. That's super rare. Nice play from Ulysses. Unlucky for Mrboat. He did retreat the raiding cavalry, but he just didn't get it in the right direction. As the tower does end up going down, but really, what does that do for Ulysses? He loses a lot of HP to take that tower down. He opens up a little bit of a raid onto this wood line, but there's a perfectly safe wood line over here that Mrboat can move to. I'd like to see Mrboat putting some wall segments around this tower as well, as the temple starting to get taken out. 47 population for Mrboat to Ulysses' 59 population here, as the hoplites getting taken out on this position. One little cheeky move you can use with Odin here, not just Odin, as a defensive tactic, is if you don't want to engage the army with your units, but your town center is firing, garrison your units inside the town center. That increases the damage your town center does by a significant margin. I think it's around about 10% per unit. Is that right? I think it's 10% per unit. Maybe 5% per unit. 10% per unit. 10% per population? It looks like that. It looks like it's 10% per unit, maybe 10% per population. I'm not sure. It depends. Well, look at that. 19.2 damage. Look at the damage it's doing. Look at the damage. Bang, bang. Dead units. The more you know, the stronger you become. Look at the damage. Yeah, he's killing off houses, but he's losing hoplites. We see the army getting pulled out of the town center, and that damage gets pulled back to nothing, and it's fine. You also have to remember this is double the damage. So if it's dealing 20 damage or 12 damage a second, that's 24. If it's on 20 damage, it's doing 40 damage a second, which is basically 2 hitting a hoplite, 3 hitting a hoplite. We are starting to see some raids coming through here. Ulysses will be defending this one nicely by shanking away. We see a cheeky forest fire coming. I don't rate using forest fire for anything in this matchup. Holding forest fire is worth so much more value than using it. Why? Because it means your opponent can't utilize a forest to defend or to have a defensive position. As we have now seen that Mrboat seems to have been able to defend for the time being. Ulysses is going to be retreating back here. We still see the raiding cavalry coming in, but Ulysses, he's too quick. Shank. Dead. Another temple coming up is Mrboat. He's going to be aiming to get to that next age here. And this is This is where things get interesting, and I'm interested to see what Ulysses' decision is going to be here, because Mr. Boat, he will be in the heroic age. Ulysses has lost too many units to be able to go for an all-in on the town center at this point. There's way too many throwing axemen here, so it's never going to go down. So what is Ulysses' plan going to be? At this moment, Ulysses has got a few options. One, he can try and just quell the pain, go heroic age himself here. He's kind of overbuilt the hoplites to make this work. If you go heroic age, you can potentially utilize an underworld to retreat away from the frost at the end of it, keep a couple of your units alive. So you do see the armory getting broken down. The Mr. Boat units here, I mean, I think he can actually fight this. We are seeing these houses. So some good damage getting done. Yet again, Mr. Boat could find himself having an advantage here by simply just garrisoning his units inside of the town center to take out those hoplites. And therefore, while the houses cost 40 wood, hoplites cost 90 resources. So he would easily be able to kill like one hoplite per house here. We do see the units coming in. Mr. Boat looking to take the fight. There we go. Wow, yes, you deal more damage if the units are out. Yes, you do. Of course. Medium infantry now in for Mr. Boat as the Skadi just about to hit. There's just no houses here for Mr. Boat. Frost getting utilized there onto the army here. And Mr. Boat is going to get a lot of free damage done. But Ulysses still has himself restoration here. And Mr. Boat is going to put down so many more houses here to get his units working. As now the dwarves will make their way up to the top gold mine over here, most likely. Frost giants are going to be wanting to be made here as well. Olympic parentage coming through for Ulysses. An interesting decision there to get that Olympic parentage. Obviously, he knows he's going to need his heroes alive and well to deal with the frost giants and everything else. There's heavy infantry coming through for Mr. Boat as well as the houses. They're still slowly coming up. The dwarves on the top location over here. The Kotoskopos has spotted that. Do we see any units moving up there or not at this position here? There's a couple of Toxotes here getting some decent damage done from afar here. As Mr. Boat here now going to be having to deal with the pain of a restoration of Ulysses as the throwing axeman still getting good damage done from behind here. Mr. Boat's at 86 of 75 population. The Toxotes aren't attacking the right units here. Now we finally see Ulysses paying attention there. He was attacking a longhouse in the town center there as well. Ulysses has to retreat back. He's now got what is it called? 6.5 damage Toxotes versus 5.4 damage throwing axemen. Both of these units here. Who wins this fight, do you think? I think the Toxotes actually I think the throwing axeman actually wins that fight. I think the throwing axeman wins the fight with 5.4 damage and 15% hack. I guess it's 10% pierce, but a little bit more HP. No, maybe the Toxotes wins the fight. It's got to be close. And now we see medium Toxotes coming through, giving a little bit more oomph to those throwing axemen as they're going to be to those Toxotes. As the Odysseus does get taken out, the army has to retreat back. And Ulysses here, he needs to get to the next stage. What is he? Is he getting a town center? Don't tell me he's getting a town center here. He needs to get to the next stage. He desperately needs Hypaspis here to deal with what is going to be coming for him. And that's a hill fort. And that's going to be Huskarls. And we already know Huskar throwing axemen absolutely trounces the classical age army of the Zeus player. The Toxotes pushing through, trying to get a little bit of trades on these throwing axemen before the hill fort gets up. But Mr. Boat gets that one up. You can also garrison into the, I believe, into the hill fort to get bonus damage done. Yep, it's literally 10% per throwing axeman in that hill fort. So you can get it to deal 20 damage times 3 with the arrows all shooting out. all of the cheeky little shenanigans that are available for defensive players out there. You do see the Toxotes getting some good damage done here as Mrboat going to be retreating back here for the time being. Now the Hoplites making a charge through here as well. But Dionysus on the way now for Ulysses. He's having a good fight here. His Toxotes are in a really good location. He's found his way here onto this gold mine beautifully. And Mrboat has got to retreat back as he's waiting to get himself the Huskal out here to allow him to take this fight. He needs to be full population here, I guess. He's almost got the units here to take the fight. We do see the Huskal coming in. Valkyrie in as well here for Mrboat. I wonder if he's just going to use this as a distraction tool. Just move it back and forth over here. As now the Huskal coming in. Going to start being able to push the army of Ulysses back. Ulysses is going to be retreating away here. This game is very, very spicy. Why is Ulysses here instead of here? Does he not know? He knows there's Hunt there. I never understand. I'll never understand. He could have Hunt, but he doesn't want it. Anyways. Ulysses 50 villages. Mrboat 45 villages. Mrboat has the gold mine. He's got the Huskal. Not that many, honestly. Probably needs to cut the throw an axeman from being built here a little bit and start getting himself some frost giants as well. But Ulysses is going to continue to pester this location because I would assume here that Ulysses' best bet is to go for Hera here. As Huntress Axe coming through, that's going to be a big, big help in the damage region for those heavy throwing axemen to deal with those Toxotes there. Get them much closer to trading 1-for-1, if not already trading 1-for-1 at that point there. So now Ulysses has to retreat back. He's now in the second age. He's got to start making Hypaspis immediately here. Is that what he's doing? Yes, he is. No more need for hoplites here as those Huskal are very, very difficult to deal with until the Hypaspis come out, and then the Huskal stop being that useful at all here. As Ulysses turns, Mrboat has to pull back here. He's getting himself the town center up as well. In the main base, farms starting to come through. Ulysses still trying to push through with this army here. He's got the Hydra. Maybe he was leaving the Caribou here to come and kill those to get the 5-headed Hydra or 3-headed Hydra before the fight, but he doesn't go over there. It's now the town center is up for Mrboat. And Ulysses, the only place he can attack this gold mine is around this position here. Ulysses here, he's not going for a town center. He's going for the Mythic Age here. Most likely, as we do see bronze getting utilized to give a huge advantage to Ulysses' army. But can he win this fight with the hoplites and the Hydra against the Huskal of Mrboat? Ulysses, he needs to micro with his Toxotes. He's attacking 50% Pierce armor units. And while his Toxotes do have 40% hack armor here, that's a big, big help. He's not doing the DPS that he needs to. And Mrboat is actually winning this fight at this point quite considerably. And Ulysses is going to be like, ah, why is Bronze so weak? And I say, Bronze isn't weak. Your micro is weak in that fight. You have to target the throw an axeman there. It's the only way forward. We still see him going after the Huskal on these points here as the throw an axeman pushing forward. They're going to be able to snipe down the Hypaspis. And Mrboat knows as well. He's like, I know you're targeting my Huskal now. I can push forward until my Huskal goes and I can just retreat back. There's now Ulysses throwing up the market on this position. And we'll see how it's all going to go. As Ulysses will be able to hit Mythic Age very soon. He's now onto the herd, back onto the hunt here as well. Hera has been clicked up. Mrboat is in a kind of weird position because this gold mine is going to be expired. Ulysses here is trying to bide his time. He wants the Lightning Storm. He wants to get a Gold Staff. He's also going to be wanting to get himself an immediate Bellerophon here and potentially also start thinking about getting himself some Medusa here as well to deal with the myth units. But Mr. Boat at this point has got probably not that good of a... He doesn't have that many farms up. Oh, yes, he does. He's got tons over here. He's also got all of this hunt here as well that he could grab to rush the Mythic Age himself here if he so chose. He could take those villagers off of the wood, chuck them onto the walrus here and have a very, very nice time. We'll see if he's going to think about doing that or not at this point, as Ulysses, after having all of the pressure on the map, has very graciously allowed those walrus to still be edible. He's got farms in his main base. He's also not eating his goats for whatever reason. I'll never understand. I will never understand. As Hera coming through now for Ulysses. The 3 heroes are out. They're going to be able to take down those frost giants very, very fast as the Hypaspist trying to take out the Huskal as best as they possibly can. Finally seeing a little bit of micro here for Ulysses. Why is Ulysses taking this fight? He had a plan. His plan was get Hera, Lightning Storm, and continue. But he's taken the fight. Now he's only at 90 population. And while Lightning Storm will do a lot of damage, Mr. Boat is going to be completely fine here. We see the units coming over here to try and get the town center up. Lightning Storm gets dropped onto this location. Throw and Axemen are basically all going to get taken out as the villagers retreating away on this position as well. The heroes coming through to try and take out the Frost Giants here. Mr. Boat drops down to 100 population as the Hypaspis come in here as well to try and take this out. Meanwhile, Jason here, 86 HP. The Frost Giant getting taken down over here as well, as the Medusa comes in to finish off that final, the final Frost Giant there. Gold finishing up on this position. We do see some archery ranges getting dropped down. Where are the units going here for Mr. Boat? What is he doing? I don't see a market anywhere. He doesn't have good gold control. Mr. Boat is in a dangerous position here. All the villagers currently sitting idle here. That's so many villagers here just kind of moving in formation up to the top gold. We do see the Pegasus is up here already. Ulysses at 108 of 130 population. Does he have a Bellerophon out? I don't think he has the resources for it. Meanwhile, villagers coming over here get turned into Ulsark to hit Ulysses' economy here. As Mr. Boat retreats back. Villagers on the top gold mine over here. Mr. Boat's got population, so it's not like he's in an awful position as the villagers are pushed off that gold. Nice find by Mr. Boat. And Ulysses is going to have to figure that one out. We do see the Bellerophon is in now for Ulysses. This is big. Bellerophon is a huge unit to have, but Mr. Boat is making his way to the next stage. The Medusa is in also to snipe down the Frost Giant there. Oh, doesn't have the special ability available just yet. Got a little bit too overzealous there. Turns around, uses the special ability, gets frosted. Didn't know that's how it worked. Manages to snipe one of those Frost Giants there, as the other one, as the other Frost Giant going to be sitting at full HP, waiting for that Bellerophon to come in onto this position here to take that one out. Medusa down. It's the Frost Giant getting a lot of value on this position here. Yet again, Ulysses targeting down those low HP, those high pierce armor Frost Giants instead of the low HP, low pierce armor throw an Axeman. Now we see a little bit of attempt there from Ulysses to do some jukey jukes, but look at this. Mr. Boat, 1,000 food, 1,000 gold, and a dream here, ladies and gentlemen. Where is the market? I don't see it. Maybe he's placed it already. It's been taken out. There's another hill fort coming up for Mr. Boat at this point. Not a market. He doesn't want to get that that Ragnarok in just yet. As the unit's trying to push through here. Bellerophon is such a strong unit against this composition because you basically need raiding cavalry or cavalry to take out a Bellerophon as Norse. As we see the hill fort getting taken down over here. As it gets finished, it looks like it's not going to go down as the throw and axe was starting to do too much damage here. Ulysses pulling back here. You see any attempt at a town center or something like that here at this point. Not just yet. Bucknalia coming through. Quarry coming through as well for Ulysses. Mr. Boat now ready to put up that market. It's coming down on this position here as well. So Mythic Age is coming through, and I can put some money down to say Mr. Boat is most likely going to be going through Ragnarok. He's going to go through Balder. He loves the Balder. He knows how precarious this position is for Ulysses to be in. As, look at this, the Medusa coming in to help out on this position as well. I like that play, but you do have to make sure you're targeting the Frost Giants. The Medusa are great against fire giants as well. As Ulysses retreats back, Balder on the way. And Ulysses is going to have to rethink about all his decisions here in this game as to how he's going to be able to finish Mr. Boat off. As Mr. Boat throwing some armories down to start getting himself armory upgrades. He's got plenty of resources in the bank here. Thank you for the 8 months. Hail to the Viper. Appreciate you, my friend. Nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. As the mummy, not the mummy, the Medusa coming in. Mr. Boat going to attempt to retreat away, but the Medusa is so speedy. Can take out anything here. And here's one of the big things that makes this kind of composition good for the Zeus player is the Medusas. If you get enough of them out, you can snipe those Huskarl nice and quickly, and then the Toxotes can start doing good damage. And not only that, the Medusa also does good damage against the throw and axeman as well. Nice micro here from Ulysses to keep the Bellerophon alive as Mr. Boat getting himself copper weapons, copper mail. Balder on the way, 60% of the way through. Ulysses is starting to find himself an advantage here as a town center coming up in the middle of the map. The problem for Ulysses is how does he defend himself against a Ragnarok, a 75 population Ragnarok here. Mr. Boat not making any ox caravans here. Slight mistake. I think he could have afforded to make a couple of those here as well. But not going to happen just yet. As we see the units congregating, the villagers congregating in this position. Mr. Boat is trying to get out some more throwing axemen here, but he's trying to hit population. I don't think he cares that much. As he hits the Mythic Age. Gets himself out some more units. Thank you for the prime there, M. Popper. Appreciate you, my friend. Thanks for coming and saying hi. Bronze weapons, bronze mail come through. The villagers moving forward here. Not the fire giant, but the frost giant gets sniped. Ulysses is going to be retreating away. I would like him to sacrifice a Medusa to snipe that fire giant. Would have been a really, really good play. But he didn't go for it. 268 population. Ragnarok for Mr. Boat here. Moving across the map, we see Myrmidon. Myrmidon are not the best unit against the heroes of Ragnarok. The Hypaspist are, but it's not a bad try anyways. As the Ragnarok hero is going to move straight up to the top gold mine over here. We see the town center over here as well. Just about up for Ulysses. As Mr. Boat here, 265 pop. Ulysses, 145 pop here as well. As on the top side of the map, we do see the units deciding to turn around, taking that fight, picking off a couple of straggler heroes of Ragnarok. As the town centers are all going to get swarmed here at this position. As the Ulfsark's checking all the gold mines out. Let's check out Mr. Boat's perspective. He knows there's a gold mine up over here. He's got a Raven on this position that doesn't quite have line of sight of that gold mine that is not existent there either. Ulysses here. He's got himself masons. He's getting himself the fortified town centers. It looks like Bellerophon has been taken out. The town center over here getting cleaned up as well. We do see an ox cart checking that location out. There is a potential here for Ulysses to sneak that top gold mine there as well. But the town center here will end up falling. The fire giant over here coming through. Mr. Boat knows it's important to keep that one alive. That's Medusa over here. Going to be getting taken out over here as well. As Ulysses is about to drop from 4 town centers to 1 in a very short space of time. Ulysses getting himself bronze mail as his villagers retreating back home. The fortress coming up in the main base here. Ulysses still has 66 villagers. He still has an army. Mr. Boat, on the other hand, has still got 223 population. As the Medusa is still here, it's going to be vitally important for him to snipe that fire giant here. Can he make this work? As on this position here, the fortress here looks like it's getting taken out. Where are all the military buildings? He does have a couple, but the fire giant gets sniped. That's huge for Ulysses as the Medusa are going to be retreating away. He's getting himself guard towers, fortified town centers, boiling oil coming in. The fortress managing to stay alive ever so slightly here as well. Ulysses with very little resources in the bank getting pushed off the farms. The villagers getting pulled back here as Mr. Boat is sending everything in to this location to hold. Ulysses at 115 population. He's about to get that fortified town centers as the villagers retreating, trying to throw another fortress down here as well. It might be a decent idea to just garrison the villagers into the town center here. Like, hit the town bell to boost all of the towers up or something crazy. As there's the fortified town centers. Ulysses getting broken through. Mrboat with 130 population left here. Mrboat, he's still pushing here in this game. He's still got resources in the back. He's starting to build some villages here as well. After all is said and done, Ulysses drops down to 34 villages at this point. Athenian wall coming in as well as the villagers pull back into the main town center. It's still very, very close here. Ulysses here, he has to know how close this is. He's still got a decent army. Yes, there are Fire Giant and Frost Giant that can be made, but Ulysses can make himself Medusa to deal with them. It's not like he's playing as like Poseidon or something, and the Fire Giant are incredibly strong here. Now Mrboat has to retreat back. He starts the villager production onto those farms here. Got himself plowed. No winter harvest, no irrigation, so it's going to be a long process to get his stuff back. He's still also on 2 town centers. He could start the trade route if he so chooses. As the villagers here, Ulysses is on 24 villages. So it's very, very close here. As Ulysses still trying to get good damage done, retreating back. Mrboat says, no worries. I'm going to keep pushing in here as more units come through. I'm pretty sure Mrboat here... I'm pretty sure Ulysses here should take this fight. Even if he loses it, he kind of is still... He's going to trade fine, most likely. As now... The longer this game goes on, the longer that Ulysses stays on one town center here, the more Mrboat is going to be able to catch up. Every 14 seconds that goes by here, is Ulysses still building villages? Yes, every 14 seconds that goes by, Mrboat gets closer, gets one villager closer to catching up. Not only that, we see a 3rd town center coming up here for Mrboat, so that thing is going to now be 2 villagers closer to catching up on villager count. As the Hypaspist, too slow here to see what's happening. As Ulysses has got to be kicking himself for not taking that fight earlier. As the Toxotes now getting some good damage. Mrboat simply going to be garrisoning into the town center over here. We do see these buildings getting cleaned up over there as the villagers are on the gold mine on the top side of the map. Do we see any effort to move up there? But the answer is no at this point in time. Villagers now on this gold mine over here as well. As Mrboat's 23 villagers about to be caught up. Ulysses needs to get his town centers back here. He's got himself tons of wood in the bank. No gold at this point. As Mrboat now, he's aiming at these villagers. Ulysses sees it. He needs to run the villagers. Losing villagers at this point is disastrous. As we do see them running, but Mrboat is trying to get in front, trying to get as much damage done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 villagers potentially going down here. 7 villagers maybe, as these ones up. They're all going down. Ulysses, he can't manage this. Mrboat picks every villager off there. He doesn't lose a single hero of Ragnarok. And now look at the villager distribution. 31 for Mrboat. He's in such an astronomical lead at this point. As the units now coming through, they will get a decent fight here, but the Fire Giant coming through, that's going to be huge here. There's no Medusa in for Ulysses at this point. As the Fire Giant gets that special ability off, he's going to do a ton of damage to those Toxotes. One does fall there as the villagers return back onto this gold mine. The heroes of Ragnarok coming up in this position as well. As Mrboat takes the score lead, he's got 3 town centers. He's got 37 villages. He's got an economy. He's at 145 population. Ulysses, on the other hand, 114 to 120 population. As the Ragnarok heroes coming back in, the Hypaspist sitting here, waiting, defending. We do see that Mrboat says, I can take a little bit of a fight here, as he cleans up a handful of these Hypaspists, and then he just says, all right, time to run away. Nice play where that's concerned. Mrboat ready to start pushing forward here. On this position, we see the heroes of Ragnarok coming up here as well. The next stage here for Mrboat should be considering to either just get out a ton of Fire Giants here or get into some raiding cavalry. I don't think he had medium raiders here. I can't remember. But if he gets medium raiders, gets heavy raiders here, and starts making raiding cavalry, he will be able to completely clean this army up as the villagers on this position about to get raided. Nice play here from Ulysses. He knows he needs to get these raids in. He's hitting the... got to be careful not to hit that raven and alert Mr. Boat to the presence here. That's a hill fort coming down on the bottom side of the map here to control this gold mine as villagers going to be moving over there off of the wood to get onto the gold as the villagers do pull back. Nice raid from Ulysses. But most of the villagers do get back. 3 villagers down, the rest into the town center. No problems where that's concerned as Ulysses still has to sit on this location. Ulysses gets his town center back on this position as Ulysses is inching his way back to breathing in this game. Ulysses, I mean, Mr. Boat does need to be careful here. Does need to continue applying pressure as he's going to be grabbing a 4th town center, and that's going to be the right way to go here. As Ulysses retreats back on this position, we do see that now we have Ulysses with the Bellerophon. That's going to be a good unit to try and take out the Fire Giant, though I kind of feel like it would have been a better use of resources to get 2 Medusa. How much do they cost? 250. You could basically get 2 Medusa for the 1 Bellerophon. I just don't think the Bellerophon is like that useful against the Fire Giant. As the town center is up, you do see him almost one-hitting the Fire Giant, but then he has to retreat away. The army now going to start pushing into this position. Mr. Boat now getting himself medium cavalry here as he is ready to start pumping out something else. The army of Ulysses does completely melt Mr. Boat's army there as Mr. Boat has to retreat back. He's at 115 to 160 population. We see the raiding cavalry starting to come out. He's only got 3 longhouses in his base here. He's got the ability to make some Jarls here, though, as he's got plenty of food income now at 45 villages. The medium cavalry will come through. He does need to get heavy cavalry before he engages with this army, or things are going to be very, very dangerous. Let's look at Ulysses' army at this point. We do see the villagers getting pushed off. Ulysses might not care here as he's going straight after the gold. As the Bellerophon comes through, unfortunately, jumps in onto the medium raider there instead of the Fire Giant. As Bellerophon now starting to get targeted down. Another Fire Giant coming in. Look at the damage that's going to come onto those Toxotes here. Boom! I mean, that wasn't that boomy. I thought it would be more. As the Bellerophon does jump in, it looks like he misses the Fire Giant there for some reason. Not sure why, but the Toxotes have to retreat back as now the hero of Ragnarok coming in to take these bad boys out as there's not that many Capacipists remaining. The Mr. Boat heroes of Ragnarok start targeting down. Now we see another splash damage coming through. Huge damage there as those Toxotes starting to get very, very low on the HP. Ulysses at 87 population. Mr. Boat at 130 population here as Ulysses retreats back. The Ulysses economy is shot. The Ulysses army is shot. The town center advantage for Mr. Boat is here, and Mr. Boat has managed to transition into a beautiful army, which now Ulysses has to figure out how he's going to beat. And instead of figuring it out, he decides to tap out here in this game. GG, well played by Mr. Boat. He holds on here in this one beautifully against Ulysses's very aggressive Athena rush here. And in the end, I actually think it was fairly equal, but Ulysses just could not get the position that he needed to get his town centers back to continue fighting this game and see a very, very strange late game-esque post-Ragnarok game. Definitely was a possibility to see here, but Ulysses couldn't quite claw his way back into a survivable position here. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next game.